Right, it's finished here. Dorking Wanderers' run of good results has come to an end with the 2-0 defeat away here at Farnborough. Marc, your thoughts on that this afternoon?
Well, look, I mean, Jack Turner's got man of the match, their keeper. It was a game really that hinged heavily on a big mistake from Josh Taylor. Josh is obviously one of my boys, and he's been immense. And on the one hand, you sort of say, well, you know, you can make a mistake because of what you give us, and he can. On the other hand, you're thinking the game was a full press game. There was no spare players. We shouldn't be passing backwards anyway. That's not what we do. That's not what we work on. So it was a huge controllable error from Josh at a point when we just about got control of the game.
Yeah.
Obviously, Farnborough went man for man, went very direct. I knew after the first 10-15 that the game would settle down. We'd very much taken over. It's hard sometimes to remember, but I'm quite vivid on this one. We'd taken over the game. Jimmy had two brilliant worked opportunities when he could have just set Jose. And all he had to do was give it Jose, who was completely free in front of goal twice, and he chose to shoot. And I'm looking at that thinking, well, how good was the communication? Yeah. Anyway, so it was just after that, probably the mistake from Josh came probably entirely against the run of play at that point. Yeah. I thought we was in control. Yeah. Obviously, you give the home team a lead like that. Going to be difficult. Second half, we've obviously dominated for long periods. Jack Turner, like I said, got man of the match. He's had a good game, Jack. But for as much as Jack was great in goal, the centre-arse in front of him done well.
I was just about to say that. They, as you often say with teams, they've defended their penalty area.
Just defended their 6-yard box. We've had an absolute gilt-edged chance with Denon. We've had some snapshots in there. So for as much as Jack's man of the match, I think we have to do better in the last third again. I think that's definitely we've got to take responsibility for that. So very disappointed. We feel like even with a really depleted team, and it is very depleted, very limited changes, we still feel like we're good enough to dominate and win matches. Today, the boys didn't do enough in front of goal, and the Jimmy chances just before their first goal, Josh's mistake, they're big chances. In a game of football, they're massive chances. Him and Jose were 2v1. He just cut through them. So, bottom line, if we spoke about the other week about both boxes, and I thought today was a case of just not good enough in the last third, James. And we had a few boys that had a bit of an off day. Don't get me wrong, Josh was really poor first half. As the game wore on, he had a much better second half. I was really, and Denon equally, first half poor, much better second half. Thought Jimmy was my highlight really. Just he's played a lot of minutes. He was excellent. He was so dangerous. So summary for me really, 2 or 3 players that 5 or 6 out of 10 had to be a bit better. But we kind of kiboshed ourselves because we was in control of the game when we made a massive mistake, and obviously we gave Farnborough a massive leg up, a team without much confidence at the moment, and then we gave them the ball back, and that's all the confidence they needed.
You had obviously said previously as well that the performances were generally good, and that was the kind of overriding thought at the moment, even if the points return hadn't been. Do you think that performance today was up there, or do you think that was below par in terms of that performance?
Yeah, I think there was some tired legs and fatigued minds, but I think when we see the stats back, it'll be a game that we, for large parts, controlled. I thought Farnborough, they sort of scuffled their way through it, using the long throw both sides. you know, just to get out at times, putting on our back line. It wasn't vintage Wanderers, but like I say, really, like I said it at Ebbsfleet, it's like small moments make a big deal. If Jimmy just sees Jose, who's literally stood next to him about to score twice, then, you know, you take the lead and Farnborough's confidence goes to -10. Give them a goal, it goes up 20%. So wouldn't have been vintage, James, but the boys fought to the end. They fought to the end. We forced countless last third actions. Thought Harrison was at fault for the second goal. Not good enough. Not good enough. If you play for Dorking Wanderers, you've you've got to take a lot of accountability. Really, like I feel like that was a disappointing situation for Harrison there. Probably gonna get away with it because it didn't change the game. But if that was at 1-0 up at or whatever Torquay and we concede an equaliser because folks he's not quick enough to come and command his box, then you know we'd be more disappointed. But he's going to have to improve that about his game, James. Just being honest, I talk about everybody every day of the week, right? He's not a youth keeper, right? He's had nothing to do, James. They hit the bar, don't get me wrong, from a dead ball. But apart from that, he's had absolutely nothing to do. Get off your line, mate. Help us out. Control the game. But that's where we are, mate. Bitter pill to swallow. If you want to be successful, I think you've got to beat. You've got to come to these places where the pitch was amazing and you've got to win. That's just where it is, mate. I thought Farnborough scuffled their way to 3 points, and well done to Spencer and the team here, because it is absolutely a pleasurable venue to come to. More local people should come here than what they get. And thanks to our fans who were terrific. There's so many of them, it's unreal. But no, look, congrats to Farnborough, but you know, it wasn't vintage Wanderers, but goals change games, James, and moments change games. And we was very dominant for the 10-15 before that mistake. We were starting to sort of, you know, take control. So that's where we are, mate. Thing is, if we'd gone and got the deserved equaliser that no one would have denied us, we'd have only had 1 point more than what we got now. We'd have felt a whole lot better. We'd have all gone home and had a batter sausage and said, you know what, weren't amazing, but we got a point. So we have to sort of measure that for what it is. You know, we're 1 point shy of what we should have got. Bare minimum. The minimum out of that game we should have got was a point based on the game. So that's where we are, mate.
Okay, well, have a good week.
Cheers,
hopefully get some of the boys back. And we'll be back down at Meadowbank next weekend for the FA Trophy game against Eastbourne.
Yeah, thanks to the fans. Our fans were tremendous, so thanks a lot.
Thanks, Mark. Cheers.